What's going on, creators? Yeah, I just want to get on here and share some tips to help you get some placements for your music. Placements are like an important part of like music publishing and a awesome revenue stream, especially if you're kind of an independent producer, musician, whatever. Um, there's a couple different ways to look at placements. One of which is like doing placements for like artist placements when it comes to doing like music for albums and stuff. But there's an entirely different area, and that's with like sync licensing placements, which is basically doing music that ends up on TV shows, advertisements, basically incorporated with media, and that's kind of the direction I'm going to kind of lead you guys on. It's been, it's worked well for me, and I just want to share those tips with you. And first one is finding good music publishers, and one of the best places to go to do that is the Music Library Report. It's created basically by a guy named Art Munson, and what he did is he created a basically almost like a forum, for other producers to get together. Let me show you what his site looks like, and so basically, it's a place where other producers have gone and rated different music libraries, different publishers online. And it's a good spot to start researching so you don't spend a bunch of time uploading a bunch of music to different libraries and publishers just to find out that they aren't good at all and it's been a waste of your time. And so, yeah, definitely check that out. I think it's like $20 to do like a week membership, which is, I do one maybe every quarter or 6 months just to kind of stay updated on who's doing what. Everything is constantly evolving, so what worked 5 years ago definitely is a different ball game today, and so it's important to kind of be on the forefront of things and not just constantly just be reacting though. And so with that being said, moving forward, I have found personally that the more that you help the publisher bring traffic to your music, the better. Instead of like in the past where you just like give them your music and just hey you go do whatever with it. Hopefully get some licensing. It's important to drive traffic to these places. Why not? It's like you have two options when it comes to music publishers. Focusing on exclusive music publishing or doing non-exclusive deals. I kind of recommend doing a mixture of both. Either way, I definitely recommend getting like a YouTube channel going, SoundCloud going, Facebook. It's really important to like kind of be involved in different groups. Facebook is like for example maybe like a video game creator group. Joining that if you specialize in making video game music, you should be around people that are into that too, and not just spamming your links in these groups, but actually being involved and like kind of getting to know different people, networking, and also off internet networking. Look at local people in your area that are creating these things. Pick up your phone and give them a call, ask for the music director or supervisor, and just say what's up, say what you're doing, and give them a link to maybe your SoundCloud, and leave it at that. Let the put the ball in their court. I don't know if that's the right saying, but with that, it's also important to not to skimp out on your artwork. For example, like SoundCloud, lets you put a thumbnail. YouTube does a thumbnail, and a great place to create good art. Let me share this with you guys. There's a website called Canva. I use them quite a bit, just for doing, just thumbnails and stuff for graphics. It's really easy, and they got a bunch of assets. Most of it's free. You can do paid for things for like $1 or so. But if you don't know Photoshop and you don't know GIMP, which is like a open source Photoshop, this is definitely a good resource to tap into. You basically you can find aspect ratios that are exactly what you need for like say Twitter posts or Instagram or SoundCloud or Facebook. You can just go in, get these templates, get exactly what you need, upload your own pictures, all that kind of stuff. And if you're not great at doing your own artwork, there's a website called Fiverr, which is a awesome way to find some freelance people that are solid on it comes to graphic design. You can search these different people on here, pay them whatever it is, and yeah, get your art that way. But don't skimp out on that. Speaking from experience on that, it's very important to step that up. Um, it really gets people's attention for one, and then how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so it's like if you're doing like, oh, I'm just going to upload this, and based on the quality of the music, it's going to sell itself. You still need people's attention enough to check it, and so if it's between something that looks like shit and something that looks, oh, that looks neat, people are going to go with kind of what strikes them as interesting or draws their attention. So don't skimp on your artwork. Market to these different groups on Facebook, LinkedIn, these different online communities where you can be of value. That's a very important concept in placements is, creating something not just that artistically you feel like making a 10-minute fucking, evolving, never heard before thing. That's one style of doing music, but focusing on, doing producer stuff, getting placements, you want to do music that has value for an end use. So if you're focusing on music for media, visuals, audio needs to be, work well with voiceovers or work well with, visual content, work good for advertising, work good for video games. It's like you're kind of combining what you're doing with something else somebody else is doing, and the more value you can bring to them, the better it works with visuals. For the better for that kind of music production. And so those are some things moving forward of things to do. Also, things not to do. Don't let other people's failures be a mental hang up for you. There are so many different people involved in doing music. Probably a big handful of them, their own negative outlook, their own negative mental attitudes, work ethic, etc. Is the reason why they're not succeeding. Every publishing platform has a number one salesperson and a handful of other ones that are just taking up space. And so and most of it is probably their own fault for either not bringing something of value, being lazy, not producing regularly. Just so many things can keep you in these kind of cycles of failure. And plus, it could just be their own limiting beliefs, and that has no bearing on how it's going to affect you. So don't let other people's negative experiences be your experience. Don't just react to trends, and focus more on just being unique and bringing something of value to other people. It's a surefire way to be successful. What you give to others, you give to yourself. So bring something of value to others, they'll bring something of value back to you. And so and with that, don't constantly just react. That's a big problem with music. Is somebody will have some hysteria over here, and then next thing you know, they want to make that some like, oh, this is the way everybody is experiencing things. In music publishing, you hear this from producers like, oh, it's oversaturated. Everything's oversaturated. It's a race to the bottom. And it's just like, come on. It's like maybe that's your experience, but there's people succeeding independently all the time. The new kind of era of music is so many opportunities to kind of take advantage of. So don't let, and you hear that a lot from like maybe producers that are like before the internet. It's like, oh, we used to get these 6-figure licensing deals, and now we got whatever's. Again, opportunities are everywhere, and it's going to be a unique experience for you because your style of producing is, I can guarantee, unique in some way. And so the more that you focus on creating versus just reacting and biting on other people's styles, and I was like, oh, that person's successful, so I'm going to do exactly what they did. You're just going to spin in circles. It's like you got to kind of forge your own path, but taking some fundamentals is important. Hopefully, these are some fundamentals you can use. Quality artwork. Good publishers. Also, driving your own traffic, to music. And what I mean by that is like doing other, you do your producing, but then on top of it, you can maybe do a blog or do a YouTube channel that helps get more attention to what you're doing, which then kind of funnels to different publishers. And with that, keeping an attitude of, you know, with publishing deals, typically it's split 50-50 for the most part, especially like non-exclusive. That's pretty common, maybe a higher ratio if it's exclusive, but it's easy to get stuck in like, oh, what's the publisher doing for me, but focus your kind of efforts in working collaboratively and being excited, for the success you can bring to the publisher. The more that you can bring to them, the more they'll promote your music, your catalog, and everything. If you're on the same kind of page, it's really important. And with that too, um, one of the things I found over the years is how toxic the music producer community can be. It's really kind of a fucking shit show at times, So it's like, don't try to spin your wheels like trying to impress different producers and different like whoever's, and it's like it'll naturally start to come together, as you evolve and grow into your craft. People will just start hitting your radar. It's like it's almost like you start matching frequencies with people and skill levels and stuff, and it just naturally and organically starts to happen. And so if you're like putting other people on pedestals, you're putting yourself way below where they're at. It's not a healthy mindset, and more than likely you'll grow into your own type of thing anyway. Things will start to come together, different opportunities and different placements start to come through just the style of music that you're producing. And so focus on your strengths. It's easy to like be like, oh well, hip hop's like really banging right now and there's getting a lot of placements and stuff, but if you're not into that, there's no reason to just constantly just try to bite on something just because it appears to be popular. Again, you're kind of chasing versus creating. And so the success and the licensing and the placements will follow the quality that you put into it. The love you put in will be returned back to you, is one way to think about it. And so try that for yourself. See what's working. Listen to your favorite media that you just are naturally enjoying, and see what kind of stuff's going on with them. Is there a way you can bring something you're good at to the table? I've personally have done a lot of research at times where it's just like, well, I'm watching all these different shows, and in the credits it shows all the time where they're getting their music, and if you see a repeating publisher that's constantly getting these placements on things that you're naturally into, and you think you can bring something of value to them, it's a lot easier of a conversation to have with the publishing people. And a lot of times, it's just a matter of filling out some forms and paperwork, but it's another, sometimes you need to maybe touch base with an A&R guy or girl, whoever, just, start getting your feet wet into things. And like I said, things naturally start to progress as you start moving in that direction. But, moving forward into like the new year, that's what I'm personally going to continue to do, is just continue to plod and plug away, just making tracks and like keeping an idea forefront though of adding value to others is really important, because it takes a lot of like mental dramas and resistances away, lets you enjoy the flow more, and ultimately it leads to a lot more opportunities, because you don't have that desperate energy. It's weird, but that does play a role in things. And so moving forward, just continuing to for one, make quality tracks, make tracks that are useful, get into these different online communities if you don't have no local options, but in that provide value to even stuff in there. Don't just spam. Keeping also in mind, how you do one thing, how you do everything. So having a quality, artwork, quality press release. Make sure your spelling is correct. You're not sounding like you're half drunk when you're writing some of these like song titles and descriptions and shit. But like Yeah, and that's kind of the flow I'm going to continue to be in. Hopefully, that helps you on your flow, because so much of, like, if you've been in this game for a while, it used to be you could just hand the stuff over to the publishing people and then you're done. But anymore, it's like, yeah, you can do that, and if your tracks are really vibing with what they're doing, it will probably rise to the top. But it doesn't hurt either to do direct licensing and placements too, which anymore it just means making yourself available, offering many areas of value to multiple sort types of people and multiple groups of people. It's the more types of value, the more types of revenue streams you can create, the more trust that people have towards you, and people like to do work with people they like and trust. And so that's a really important thing too. And so, with that being said, I appreciate you guys listening, liking, sharing, subscribing, all thumbs up, all that kind of social networking stuff. Hopefully that advice is good for you moving forward in your music, and hopefully that helps get you some more placements as far as like publishing placements go. That's kind of the goal. So, with that being said, thanks again for listening, and have a good rest of your now, I guess, and God bless.